everyone, and welcome to the program Talk Sport on Global Television. I am Samuel Odi. Many thanks for joining. I've got big news and a little bit of gossip in the world of sports that I'm going to bring to you guys. So it's been a beautiful week, exciting week. We've seen some managers losing their jobs, some, parting ways with their former club and tried new things. And some are still saying that there's a mix going on within some parties, and some football matches being postponed due to flood and loss of life. So a whole lot happening, and as well looking at the basketball scene where Bronny James finally gets to score his first NBA bucket in the game against Cleveland, despite the fact losing, but still he was able to get himself a point, coming in off the bench after a substitution. But that's how I make you welcome to Talk Sport on today's edition. So let's get right into it. We'll be starting from the home front, but today we're switching it up a little, given the fact that we'll be starting from basketball. Rivers Hoopers, yes, whenever the Rivers Hoopers are in the news, that means something big is happening. They're actually looking to go all through the season unbeaten. The Rivers Hoopers look to go the entire Nigerian Premier Basketball League's campaign undefeated, given incentives by the River State government. Speaking recently after securing a spot in the last 8 after they defeated Ebom Comets 94 to 54 to 50 points, their coach Ogun Odudua expressed his delight at the team's splendid run, ascertaining that their mission was to finish the season unbeaten. That was our target from the beginning. We are happy we have accomplished it, but we still have a long way to go because we are trying to get better. We are happy we are in the final 8. They opened their campaign with an amazing run with 87 to 34 points win over Delta Force to record an impressive first game in the NBBF League. That's the National Basketball Federation League, before a 77-43 win over Olukoyede Warriors in the second match. The 5-time champions bettered Police Baton 87 to 58, and in the third game, in their third match, to further establish their status as a favorite to retain the title. So Rivers United has been amazing. You've seen them travel to Kigali and to represent in the Bell competition, and they've all gotten all the way through to this finals. Yes, the first season they were there, they scaled through the qualifying stages and then scaled through the group stages, and then when they got to the quarterfinals, they got knocked out. But coming back in the next season, they were able to get through up to the finals, but sadly they didn't get to win the title. But moving on, and with these impressive records that they've had this season, so we are seeing that Rivers United are back at it and will be able to go back to Kigali and see how far they can get in this third season of them representing Nigeria in playing basketball in Kigali. So we're hoping to see a whole lot of positivity, enthusiasm, like the coach rightly mentioned. They have a long way to go. They have a lot of work to do ahead of themselves, and then we are hoping that they get to do all of those and get to win that Bell championship. So if that does happen, we have a whole lot of persons that have played in the NBA G League and also played all over Europe that are team members or teammates or team players, whichever way you call them, in the Rivers Hoopers, and those guys are awesomely amazing. Yes, seriously, those guys have been doing so much, because looking at a few years ago, Rivers Hoopers were actually nowhere to talk about, but with the support that they were getting from stakeholders and government, we are seeing a betterment result, and we're hoping to see that they get to the Bell competition in Kigali, Rwanda, and then make us proud. So moving away from basketball, let's continue with the basics of football, where the Flying Eagles won 2-1 over Ghana. Football enthusiasts have commended Nigerians Flying Eagles for retaining the Wafu B on the 20 trophy after defeating Ghana 2-1 in the finals in Lomé, Togo. A cross section of the Abuja fans who spoke to the news of in separate interviews shortly after the match, in the evening, described the team's performance as impressive. Joseph Dauda, an entrepreneur, described the Flying Eagles' defeat of their regional rivals as an early Christmas gift for lovers of football. He says that the situation in the country deserves such cheering news to calm the pressure of Nigerians exposed to economic hardship. Yes, football and a whole lot, sports generally tend to bring Nigerians together, and it's very amazing that we're seeing the the Flying Eagles going all the way and then winning the match. Now there's lots of tension, economic hardship, economic hiccups going around, and people tend to find it very hard to get themselves going by the day. But with this news now of the Flying Eagles securing and then winning a championship against Ghana, because I know you all know that there's been a serious rivalry going on between Nigeria and Ghana, not just on the football pitch, even inside the kitchen. Yes, whose jollof rice is the best. Some have argued, the Ghanaians said their jollof is the best. Nigerians have said our jollof is obviously the best. So I've tasted both, but obviously home sweet home, I would say Nigerian jollof is always the best. But talking about football now, it's been loggerhead between the Lions and then of Ghana, and as well as the Super Eagles of Nigeria. It's been a loggerhead that Nigerians always have to like prove a point, but we've always done that, and then we always come out on top, not just with the senior teams, but even the younger guys are doing it. So it's just super amazing, and I commend the coach, because I watched the game. I saw how clinical, how tactical, and how smart these boys are. The kind of plays that they drew up, the coach did an amazing job, and then for the players to be able to execute and then brought out the vision, it shows how hungry this under 20 guys are, and I'm super excited for the win that they were able to secure in Lome against Ghana. Yes, and then now we are beating Ghana not just 2-1. We're winning in football, and we are also winning in the marathon kitchen race as those with the best jollof rice. So Ghanaians, if you want recipe for playing football and for cooking jollof rice, I'm sure you know where to stop, and the place is Nigeria, the giant of Africa. So still talking about football and someone that has been inspired by Lionel Messi, I'm talking about now Calvin Bassey. Yes, Calvin Bassey is in the news, and he says that Lionel Messi actually inspired him to come play for the Super Eagles instead of playing for the Three Lions. The Nigerian international Calvin Bassey has opened up on the magical Lionel Messi moments that inspired him to choose to play for the Super Eagles ahead of the Three Lions of England. When Nigeria played Argentina, he says we lost 2-1, but it was a good game. Bassey told newsmen, Messi of course is Messi, Messi is Messi. In it, he scored that outrageous goal. I think it was a knee, left foot, then right foot. It was top, but was more of a motivation to me. I want to play for Nigeria and also play on a big stage, which he's actually doing. The Fulham defender was born in Italy to a Nigerian parent, but moved to England as a child and grew up in Newham. Bassey was eligible to play for any of the two countries, including Kenya, but in 2021 he committed his international future to the three-time African champion when he accepted a call-up for the 2022 World Cup qualifiers and debuted for the country in a 0-0 draw against arch-rival Ghana. Yes, so whatever it is with Ghana is either we get a draw or the Super Eagles of Nigeria gets a win. So, but we've been winning most of the time. If you check the record, Nigerians have been top of the league in terms of clashes and meetings with Ghanaians. I think the Super Eagles are actually, topping that avenue with most wins. So looking at Lionel Messi and Calvin Bassey drawing inspiration from him to want to play for the Super Eagles shows so much of the legacy that Lionel Messi has and what he has impacted in the younger generation of those that are playing football, up and coming footballers. So it shows so much work that's on and off the field that is great. Like Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, and others that have all retired are actually doing so much and then doing exceptionally well, to be able to see that the younger generation just gets to confirm and then commit to their homeland, to their countries. And then it's amazing. We've seen how great Kevin Bassey is. He was superb in the African Cup of Nations, though the Super Eagles lost in the finals against Ivory Coast, but he was superb, in the defense line, despite playing through injuries. Looking at the qualification as well for the 2025 African Cup of All Nations, he has been amazing, always prompt, always showing up to camp as swift as possible, arriving early, and then also making sure that most of his teammates are being carried along to be able to see that the Super Eagles get to win and qualify. Now, in the Group A, the Super Eagles found themselves for the AFCON qualifiers. We are up through with 10 points, and given the fact that on the 18th we'll be having our final qualifying matches, we are hoping to get a win, which would be happening on the 18th of November, which will be played in the Godswill Akpabio Stadium in Uyo. So we are hoping to see Kevin Bassey around, as well as other greats. But there's a bit of a worry going on around the sectors where we have a few of our players who are currently injured, but medical have not given us final confirmation on if who will be missed out or who will be present for this final qualifying matches, which is very, very important for Nigeria to grab all 3 points, and if possible, though it's very possible looking at the qualities we have, and also grabbing all 3 points and then grabbing all 3 goals to be able to qualify seamlessly without having to look over our shoulders. So we'll be looking at all of those, and then still talking about Atlanta, and then talking about another Nigerian rather, who is amazing, who has been doing so well. And speaking now, he has spurred up interest from Chelsea. Not just Chelsea, West Ham, Everton. Now PSG is in the mix of trying to get Ademola Lookman. Yes, I'm talking about the Ballon d'Or boy, Ademola Lookman. Atlanta has again resigned to losing their talisman, Ademola Lookman, to one of the numerous suitors anytime soon, with their head coach Gyran Gospe confirming Paris Saint-Germain's interest and admitting the Nigerian forward could leave the club. Confirmed that Laxbase Dual Sports that the French giants indeed inquired about Lookman in the summer, but the deal could not be struck despite agreeing on the personal terms. To this end, the Serie A club are combing Europe for a replacement of the Ballon d'Or nominee, who is also courted by English Premier League side Chelsea and West Ham United. Lookman joined Atlanta from RB Leipzig in the summer of 2022 and has been the team's best player in the first 2 years, helping them to win the UEFA Europe League. Last season, the former Everton player finished 14th in the Ballon d'Or final staging and turned up the ceremony in Paris in style alongside his parents and his youth coach. Ademola Lookman is a great guy. We saw what he did, making history when he faced Bayern Leverkusen in the Europa Cup final, netting 3 goals, winning the man of the match, getting himself nominated, scoring for AFCON, playing all through the matches despite injury worries, and again emerging as this season has been nothing short of amazing from Ademola Lookman. He has won man of the match just this season in 3 different matches. He has netted 4 goals in a match and created 2 assists for his teammates, and he carried everyone along. Now, Chelsea looking out for him, West Ham looking out for him, and now another big side, Paris Saint-Germain, looking out for him. After the exit of Kylian Mbappe, Paris Saint-Germain have been looking for a serious replacement for him, despite the fact that they've been winning matches, but it hasn't just been super easy when they had Kylian Mbappe. So now looking at Ademola Lookman, would he fit in properly with Paris Saint-Germain? I think he's more used to the style of playing in the Serie A, and I feel he's going to fit in. But looking at the English side, he started with Everton, but when he was in the Premier League in England, his game was not really top-notch. Yes, it wasn't really top-notch, given the fact that he struggled so much. That's why he had to move to Leipzig on loan finally, before Atlanta now grabbed lots of interest in him, and then his career began to spike up, and then he started scoring goals becoming the best player on his team in less than 2 years. So Ademola Lookman has been a great guy, has been amazing, working on his craft, and then we're seeing the results. So would he go to Paris Saint-Germain? Do you think he's going to fit in well with Paris Saint-Germain, or do you think West Ham or Chelsea? Well, as a Chelsea fan, I would definitely want him to come play for Chelsea, but the most important thing is, would he fit in Chelsea, or would he fit in West Ham, or would he even fit in Paris Saint-Germain? I think when a deal is made, he would decide. But I think he would want to play for Paris Saint-Germain and try to get himself a Champions League medal, or maybe even carry the trophy, because I'm sure that is the next goal at hand for him, despite the fact that he's still working to be able to clinch his own African Cup of All Nations title. Hopefully that would be happening come the next season of or the next phase of African Cup of Nations matches, which is set to kick start in the year 2025. But for Ademola Lookman, now we are hoping to see him stray and then expand and then work more, and even probably get to win the Ballon d'Or. He finished 14th in this year's listing, and then we're hoping to see that he gets to maybe be one of the first Nigerians that would be able to win the Ballon d'Or. Ademola Lookman has been super amazing. We'll be going on a very quick break, and then when we return back, we'll be having conversations around Manchester United and its new management. So you stay with us. We'll be right back.
It's time for sports' biggest moments on global television. The headlines, scores, breaking news and commentaries on sporty events. Talking with the biggest players, strikers, and about the slam dunks and goals, stunning saves, near misses and upsets. Let's talk about the greatest home runs, comebacks, knockdowns and victories. Talk sports with the king of sports, Anthony Momodu. Weekdays, 10 a.m. Don't miss out.
Got that goal! Beautiful work from the wingers! Get a shot in, squares it into the back!
It's time for sports' biggest moments on global television. The headlines, scores, breaking news and commentaries on sporty events. Talking with the biggest players, strikers, and about the slam dunks and goals, stunning saves, near misses and upsets. Let's talk about the greatest home runs, comebacks, knockdowns and victories. Talk sports with the king of sports, Anthony Momodu. Weekdays, 10 a.m. Don't miss out.
Got that goal! Beautiful work from the wingers!
It's time for sports' biggest moments on global television. The headlines, scores, breaking news and commentaries on sporty events. Talking with the biggest players, strikers, and about the slam dunks and goals, stunning saves, near misses and upsets. Let's talk about the greatest home runs, comebacks, knockdowns and victories. Talk sports with the king of sports, Anthony Momodu. Weekdays, 10 a.m. Don't miss out.
Got that goal! Beautiful work from the wingers!
Yes, many thanks for staying with us. Now, let's have a conversation around those that have swapped managers. Yes, you know I'm talking about Manchester United. And there's a mix going on, though, like I rightly mentioned, there's a gossip that I'm about to bring to you today. So I'm actually going to give you the gossip. But before we get to the gossip part, not that I'm a fan of gossip, but it has to do with Manchester United. And I have a whole lot of Manchester United people around me that I would like to bring up this information to. But let's have a conversation. Finally, Manchester United have agreed with a deal with Amorim to be the new manager. Manchester United has finalized an agreement with Sporting Lisbon to appoint the 39-year-old Ruben Amorim as the club's new head manager. That's the new head coach, with the tenure set to begin after November international break. The agreement comes shortly after United dismissed Erik ten Hag, who had been in charge for 2.5 years. According to reports, United's leadership team, including Chief Executive Officer Omar Brennett and Sporting Director Dan Ashworth, traveled to Lisbon to finalize terms with Sporting. Amorim's release comes with a few considerations. He will remain at Sporting to offer 3 crucial matches, including the high-stake game against Manchester City, before moving to Old Trafford. So, actually, Amorim Ruben has a very big match ahead of him, which is very, very superb. And I don't know how well or how easy, yes, how easy it's going to be for him to scale through Manchester United, because looking at Manchester United, Guardiola is not a man that likes losing, and I'm sure he would want to tell him, yes, you're actually going to meet me in England, but let me show you a test of what you are going to expect. So I'm sure Ruben will also have a whole lot fold up in his sleeves that he will want a lot of the whole world to actually see, and then let's see how that match is going to portray. But would Ruben be able to carry on with the job that is happening with going on currently in the Old Trafford? Will he be able to manage the players and all of that, having Rob Van Nistelrooy still as a coach, assistant coach, or he will still remain as just a coach of the striker? So there's just a whole lot happening. But with him, do I think Ruben is going to fit in well with Manchester United? Yes, I think he has what it takes, given the fact that the last season he was able to, for the past few years, that he has rather been with Sporting Lisbon, he has brought them all the way from the relegation stage and then advanced them up to the championship stage and contending for the trophy. So I've seen how much work he puts in, his work ethics and all. I think he's definitely going to fit in well. And looking at the qualities that he have in Manchester United, I don't think it's going to be a problem for him to be able to navigate and find his ways around, what's currently going on in Manchester United. But talking about Manchester United now and the Ineos and every other person, look now, Sir Jimmy Ratcliffe and co must bring clarity and finalize seal with deal for Ruben Amorim. Rob Van Nistelrooy fixed his iniquity with same code stars that will be familiar to the generation of Premier League goalkeepers. So he had spoken to Ruben, or considered setting up his team with one eye on Manchester United's new manager taking over later this month, or he is already announced, replied the Dutchman bluntly. Obviously, I won't talk to somebody who's not announced. That's not logical, in my opinion. What the future will bring, we will see. So, talking about clarity now, when the Dutchman was about to leave, a lot of persons were telling him to go ahead and speak to Ruben Amorim, who wasn't yet confirmed as a coach of Manchester United. So he said, that's Ruben Van Nistelrooy saying that it doesn't make any sense for him to go ahead and start having conversations on tactics and plans to go ahead to win matches. We see on the first match that Van Nistelrooy was able to handle as a coach, as an England coach. He secured a win for Manchester United, which is exciting and which is something that boosts his momentum. So now people are thinking that it's going to be a third wheel on the team, meaning Van Nistelrooy is going to be a third wheel, given the fact that the Inos partially or kind of have a full charge over the team, and then they call most of the shots on what should be done. And then people have also argued about the fact that Sir Alex Ferguson's factor also is also playing in the team. That's why coaches, persons like Sir Erik ten Hag, finding it very difficult to be able to carry on with what is happening and then manage the team to his own best abilities. So a lot of persons have said that. So that is the gossip part. People have argued time and time over again that there is a factor, there is a Sir Alex Ferguson factor on every coach that comes to coach Manchester United. So you all now tell me what you think. You could just go to all of our social media handles and then have this conversations with us. Do you think there's a factor, Alex Ferguson factor is playing on the team, or do you think Van Nistelrooy is going to be a better coach than Ruben Amorim, or do you think there is a way they are going to find a balance and both of those guys will get to work together? So I want to see Manchester United win, but not win over Chelsea. You know, that is just what it is for me. So don't mind me. I'm a Chelsea fan. I always want to see Chelsea win and then excel. But I also want to see Manchester United win, but not over Chelsea. So that is it for Manchester United. So let's move away from England and take a very, very quick flight to Spain, where the La Liga president, Javier Tebas, slams Real Madrid as childish for skipping the Ballon d'Or ceremony. The Real Madrid have been denounced again by La Liga president for skipping the Ballon d'Or ceremony in Paris. Javier Tebas says has branded Real Madrid childish, hot-headed and supremacist in a staggering inventive against the world's richest football club. Real Madrid rather refused to attend the Gazan Award at Gala after finding out that their forward Vinicius Junior had not won Ballon d'Or, with Brazilian coming second to Manchester City Rodri rather. It has now snowballed into a bitter dispute with Vinicius Junior, blaming his rejection on the fact that he has stood up to racism in the game, and Madrid claiming they were not respected. I think that Real Madrid lacked the chivalry that has always been one of the hallmarks, and it's part of its anthem as well, shaking hands when it loses, said La Liga kingpin Tebas, as he says. So people are really not happy that, you know, most of the top players of Real Madrid were nowhere to be found in Paris during the Ballon d'Or. So it's just devastating, I would say, because lots of fans were looking forward to see, you know, Vinicius Junior, Jude Bellingham, Rodrigo, Modric, most of these big guys that play in Real Madrid, but somehow, somewhat, they were nowhere to be found. Why? Because they said that Vinicius Junior was not listed, and they felt he was supposed to win. So let's have this conversation. Do you think, you know, Rodri was supposed to win, had what it takes, did what he could do, played a massive role, you know, for him to be able to win the Ballon d'Or? Some persons have argued no, some persons have argued yes. So for me, I think Vinicius Junior actually deserves to win Ballon d'Or, Champions League winner, you know, was at Copa America, had an amazing season. So we don't even want to get into the stats, because if you get into the stats, you clearly see that, you know, Vinicius Junior was not supposed to come second. He was actually supposed to win the Ballon d'Or. But FIFA and the entire body, UEFA, knew what they saw, knew the criteria that they used to judge, and then finally they decided that, okay, the winner, and then voting again, like they say. But voting and all of that, if you're talking voting now, Vinicius Junior, despite the fact that he has been so vocal about racism when it comes to football, I don't know if that was what played one of the major factors for him not to win. But football and FIFA, UEFA, they've all come out to debunk the fact and says that there is no form of room, there is no room for racism in football. So if this man is an advocate for this, I don't think that should be judged, be one of the reasons why he'll be judged not to win. But the FIFA and UEFA had most avenues that they use in judging all of this. But if we look at stats now, he is an attacking, Vinicius Junior is an attacker, Rodrigo is a midfielder. So we know what the kind of work attackers do, and we know the kind of work midfielders do. So if we look at all of these things together, put them side by side, maybe our result and then our opinions would always be different. Still talking La Liga and talking Real Madrid. Real Madrid match against Valencia has been postponed due to sadly deadly flood. Real Madrid away match against Valencia in La Liga this weekend was postponed by the Spanish Football Federation due to flood that have killed more than 95 people. Sadly, a very, very sad report coming out from there. Villarreal's home match against Rayo Vallecano was also suspended after the devastating flash flood in the eastern Spain. La Liga asked the Spanish Football Federation to postpone Valencia and Villarreal's matches on Saturday, as well as 3 second division games involving teams from the affected areas. It has not been agreed to postpone matches that were to be played in the professional and non-professional competition, both in the 11-a-side football in the indoor football in Valencia region, the referee says in a statement. So this has finally not been decided, but it has been decided that the Valencia and Real Madrid matches have been postponed. The flood came and then it was very, very alarming, very, very devastating, and it claimed a whole lot of lives, properties, cars. As you can see on your screen, it's very, very disturbing footages there that we had, and we really sympathize. Talk Sports and the entire production here really sympathize with the families of those that were lost, and we hope that God grants them the strength to bear these losses, and hopefully soon, before next week, another set date will be fixed for all of these matches that have been postponed. Yes, so moving away from that sad commentary, let's move all the way to the NBA. Yes, the NBA season is back, histories are being made, and number one person that we know that started making history is Bronny James and LeBron James. But we're not starting with those guys. We'll talk about someone else that has made history in the NBA this season. James Harden, yes, is the man in the news. James Harden has made NBA history with LA Clippers versus the Phoenix Suns. Los Angeles Clippers stars James Harden has been a force so far in his new NBA season with Kawhi Leonard sidelined. Harden has been needed to take on a larger responsibility for the Clippers and has been thriving in that role. Coming into the early hours of today's game against the Phoenix Suns, Harden has averaged around 23.5 points, 7.5 rebounds, 11.3 assists, and 1.3 steals per game on the 35.5 27% and also 87.7 shooting splits. That's how much and so much fire that James Harden came into the season with. Harden was going in his best to increase those average early on Thursday, that's the early hours of Friday, given the time difference game, and just in the first quarter alone, entering the game, Harden ranked second in the NBA or in assists per game, and right behind Trae Young by 3 assists. So Trae Young is very amazing, he's very superb, but James Harden is tailing him back to back with this statistics and then these figures. So looking at all of this amazing work, looking at the NBA and it's just amazing how James Harden has been. Looking at his days in Houston, he was an MVP. Though he's still ringless. Ringless means he hasn't won the NBA championship. He moved all the way down to Brooklyn to see how he would do some magic with Kevin Durant, Ben Simmons, and also nothing like that really happened. It didn't pan out well for them there, so he had to now move. He moved all the way down to LA Clippers. James Harden moved to Philadelphia, and then Joel Embiid and co didn't still find their fitting when Doc Rivers was still the coach of the Philadelphia Sixers. They couldn't find their fitting. They got into the playoffs but didn't get through to secure the win, and I think they got knocked out by Trae Young and his team. So he now moved to LA Clippers thinking he's going to be on the same page with Leonard and Paul George, but Paul George called quits and then left the Clippers. But now a massive role has been given to James Harden, and he has been amazing from the early start of this season. So let's see how this year and how this season is going to be for James Harden all through. So talking about those that are doing amazingly well, Morant, despite being suspended a lot of the time during the previous season due to some gang-related issues, he finally found his way back to the Grizzlies and helped them win against the former defending champions, that is Milwaukee Bucks, against Dame Leonard and Giannis Antetokounmpo. Ja Morant's 12th career triple-double fired the Memphis Blazers into a win of 122-99 NBA victory over Milwaukee Bucks early hours of Friday morning as Houston edged Dallas and Maverick. Bucks stars Antetokounmpo scored 37 points and grabbed 11 rebounds, but teammate Dame Leonard was held to 4 points on 1 of 12 shooting. Wow. Brook Lopez was Milwaukee's next highest scorer with 12 points as the Bucks dropped their 4th straight after opening the season with a win over injury hit Philadelphia. Morant was the engine for Memphis, scoring 26 points with 10 rebounds and 14 assists. He had plenty of those support as 7 Grizzlies players, including all 5 starters, scored a double figures. Milwaukee never got up to a deficit below 18 points in the second half. So this is the main reason why Ja Morant actually was able to win. He had help from all of his teammates. Yes, scoring double digits. Obviously, with those records and with those teammates getting effective and also scoring, having a high scoring night, that helped them win the match. Looking at Milwaukee Bucks now, let's break it down. Giannis Antetokounmpo dropped 37 points, right? Then a low scorer like Joe scored 12 points. So Damian Lillard, who is meant to be a scorer and a shooter, the shooter of the team, had a very awful night. We all know how great Dame time is, but scoring 1 of 12 3-pointers, that is very not good at all for him. So we've seen it, but people have argued that any team, they don't care whoever is on the team, but if you have Dr. Rivers, yes, as a coach, that team is going to lose. So what is the problem now? Is it the fact that Chris Middleton is out, injured, or is the fact that Giannis couldn't get help from his teammates to be able to score more points? But all of that, Giannis has been the one carrying the whole thing, with or without Chris Middleton. But you can also take away the fact that Chris Middleton factor always plays a massive role when it comes to winning of games with Milwaukee Bucks. And again, it has been argued that Chris Middleton has been highly underrated. But for me, do I agree with that? Yes, I do agree with that, because of the fact that the Greek Freak, that's our Nigerian now, as he often calls himself, the Greek Freak has this story, and then the media loves the story that he brings of coming all the way from Nigeria, going to Greece, struggling, and then living under the bridge, making it through to the NBA, and then sending back money to his family to be able to all of the stories. You know how the story gets. So all of the stories now is what always pushes Giannis Antetokounmpo forward, and then also having his brothers also playing in the league does that as well for him. But looking at those angles now, does he bring what it means, what it takes to be a leader and to carry a team? Yes, Antetokounmpo does all of that, scoring 37 points last night despite the lose, but he was super amazing from his play last night. Now let's move away from what happened in Milwaukee Bucks and let's have a conversation of Wemby Inyama, the French prodigy, yes, who has 5 on 5. It should be a consistent thing. Yes, he had 5 steals, 5 rebounds, more than 5 rebounds, and then 5 blocks as well. Yes, so the French prodigy packing 9 rebounds, 9 assists, yes, 5 blocks, and then 5 steals piled up from this last across 5 categories for the second time in his young career, NBA career. He became the only third player with multiple 5x5 showing. Then the other legends that have had this is our great and own Nigerian Hakeem Olajuwon. Yes, Hakeem Olajuwon is topping those leagues with those charts, those statistics with multiple of 5 rebounds all through his season, and we all know that he's an MVP. He was an MVP back-to-back. Yes, he played during Michael Jordan's era. So for you to be an MVP and win a championship during those era, you have to bring it. Yes, you have to be as tough as it gets for you to be able to play in the NBA at that time. Hakeem Olajuwon is a great guy, and then he is also a 7'1", and as well as Wemby Inyama, who is also a 7-footer, a great and a very lanky and a tall dude who is doing amazingly well. Yes, we saw how well he performed in the Olympics, but Steph Curry, who is a chef, when they were playing against the United States of America in the finals, we saw how amazing the United States of America were. We saw how great the French side were, but bottom line still remains the United States of America had it in the Olympics, where Steph Curry was just shooting whatever that comes his way. He became a sniper for the night, and then at the end of the day, he just laid everybody to sleep when he had that massive shot against 3 defenders. That man is a chef, and he always loves cooking whenever he's on the basketball court. So let's talk about this unbelievable moment where Bronny James hit his first NBA point, and Bronny James scored his first NBA basket for Los Angeles Lakers in a 134 to a 110 defeat suffered by Cleveland Cavaliers. That's why the fact that you came home to play and then you got to score, but at the end of the day, Bronny James and his father got their head handed over to them by their home fans and their home team. Yes, Bronny James and LeBron James are from Cleveland, so father-son duel. This is the first time in history that something like that is happening in the NBA. So I'm super excited for that and him getting to score his first bucket. But people have argued, before we get into the main gist, people have argued about the fact that he has been playing all through the season, like since the early seasons. The season is just started, but he has been featuring all of the matches. How come he hasn't scored? Was all of this stage for him to get his first bucket in Cleveland? Some persons have said yes, some persons have said no. So we don't know what way is going to pan out. But LeBron James, 39, who previously had 2 spells at Cleveland, and his son Bronny, who is 20, made history last week, becoming the first father-son duel to share the court in an NBA game during the Lakers season opener against Minnesota Timberwolves. LeBron James says to see him get his first NBA bucket in the arena where he grew up not far from here, it's an unbelievable moment. Bronny came in just 5 minutes left against the Cleveland and scored his first NBA bucket on a step back 14-footer jumper over Tyrese Thompson. Yes, Tyrese Thompson is 6'9", and then Bronny James, who is just 6'1", a guard, getting to score over him. That was an amazing shot, and I'm super excited for the Bronny and the James family for how much work. And then the dream of Cristiano Ronaldo has always been to play with his son. Are we going to see a father-son duel coming on the pitch at the same time. In football, we are not certain yet, but our fingers are crossed. We are hoping to see that if age permits Cristiano Ronaldo to do that. But for LeBron James, he is living his dream now, having his son on the same team as him and then giving each other assists. I'm just super excited about all of that, and that is so amazing for sports generally and for the family, for the Jameses family. That's how much time will permit us to bring you today on today's edition of Talk Sports. We'll see you again tomorrow as we bring you major stories around the world of sports. My name is Samuel Odi. You have a great day ahead, and then bye for now.